On, guys? ChaseWins.com, and we are coming to you for the week of October the 26th. It's actually Tuesday night. Cheers, everyone. Cheers to hopefully getting some NASCAR up and done in the next day or so. It looks like it's been postponed again due to weather. Hurricanes coming through. I know my part of the country is going to get hammered. What they're expecting to be Thursday, I believe. So, what we're going to do, we're going to do the same thing that we did last week. Obviously, you guys saw the recap for what we did last week as far as our profit and loss and ROI. Great week of profit, some big winners in there. Took a couple of bad beats, but overall, if you were on everything, had a really good week as far as profit goes, and that's all that matters. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, because last week, instead of giving out free plays just based on what was playing that day, because obviously you had football going on throughout the week. You have Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Friday Night Football, so on and so forth, and you had the World Series mixed in with that as well, which congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll get to that in just a second. They wrapped things up just a little while ago. But what we're going to do is same thing we did last week. We did give out a free play on Monday Night Football. But from that point going forward, I gave out 4 college football plays. All of them were underdogs. One of them went Friday night. The rest of them went on Saturday. Gave every single one of them out before Friday. That way you were able to get it early, lock it in before any line movements, and every single one of those 4 underdog picks not only cashed, every one of them won outright, as I said they would. And then also, I gave out 2 NFL plays, actually 3 NFL plays. One lean, two official free plays, all for Sunday action. 2 of them were underdog plays. Both underdogs won outright in pretty dominant fashion. And then the one lean, which was a favorite, I gave you on Kansas City. They also cashed very easily. So if you look at that, we actually went 7-0 in those free plays that we gave out ahead of time. And 6 out of those 7 were underdogs that won outright. So we are going to do the same thing. Like I said, it's Tuesday night now. I'm actually going to give you 2 free plays tonight. One for Friday Night Football, one for Saturday football. I've got a few more that I'm looking at that I'm going to look at before I go to bed. And then first thing in the morning, I'm going to wake up super early, well before daylight, and do another video and give you anywhere from 1 to maybe as many as 3 more college football underdogs for Saturday college football. And then we're going to post these, and what we're going to do is, depending on how many I find overnight, besides the 2 that I'm going to give you, we're going to post those throughout the week. So from now all the way through Friday, I'm going to be posting things for this weekend. Make sure you lock them in now, because I'm telling you, as many people follow these picks as I put out, especially not just my clients, but followers here, these lines will move. It's just like people say, oh, you release a game and 30 minutes later the line moves. Well, when you have upwards of 1,000 people betting a game in a very short amount of time, yeah, lines are going to move a little bit. So make sure that you get it, because some of these, teams are only catching a few points. You want to get the most value you can, especially when you're getting an entire possession as far as points in your pocket. So we'll get on those in just a second. But great week. Well, one thing that I want to touch on that we haven't really touched on yet is what we've done. So everybody knows how I feel about this. I am not a gambler. We are investors. We invest just like day traders. We are in the market almost every day when there's action to be in the market. But even though we are short-term day traders in the sports investing world, I always am giving out long-term investments before seasons start. I don't do like most cappers or whatever they consider themselves and say, oh, well, we're halfway through the season, or we're 2 weeks from the playoffs, and I'm going to give you my prediction to win the championship. Doesn't really take a lot of skill to see who the best team is at that point, or at least who has the best chance of winning based on how everything's laid out. I give my predictions before the season ever begins. Most of the time, if there's even a preseason, I give it out before that. 2019 World Series, Astros versus the Nationals. The day that it ended, that very next day on a free play, I gave out my prediction for the Dodgers to win it all. The day following that, so we're still in November, we're still in October, I gave out on a live show because they had already released odds at William Hill. The New York Yankees were the overwhelming favorites per Vegas and the experts to win the 2020 World Series. Backing that up, the second favorite, odds wise and expert wise was the Washington Nationals to be able to repeat, and then past that, they were actually looking at teams before the Dodgers. They were looking, excuse me, this was before the scandal broke, for the Astros. They were locked in ahead of the Dodgers. This is well before the whole Mookie Betts situation. So the Dodgers were about fourth in line. I told everybody on that live show, and I kept repeating myself over and over until the start of spring training, before Mookie Betts, before any of that, the Dodgers would win the 2020 World Series. You had people like Vegas Dave go out and tell you why the Yankees were going to win it. Well, hell, he picked the Yankees last year. I said that the Yankees would not even make the World Series, that they would not even make the ALCS. They didn't make any of it. The Dodgers took care of business. When we locked that bet in, they were 10-1 odds. At the start of the season, they were still 8-1 odds because there were still two other teams favored higher than them to win the World Series. People just did not believe in the Dodgers. They were the best team. They took care of business. Congratulations to Dave Roberts, who I love to death. Corey Seager, very well deserving of that MVP. Justin Turner, Mookie Betts, all of those guys. Jock Peterson, Cody Bellinger. Fantastic squad. One of the best baseball teams I've ever laid my eyes on. Very, very deserving of that championship, and it's been a long road for them to get there. 7 or 8 NL West titles. That was their 4th World Series appearance. I mean, they deserved it. They really did. So, but most importantly, congrats to everyone that followed me on that, and a huge winner to cap off our MLB season with a 10-1 winner. And then that makes another championship prediction that we won this year. So that means before the preseason of NBA started, I predicted the Lakers to win it all. That was when the Toronto Raptors, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the LA Clippers were all favored above them. Picked the LA Lakers, they took care of business. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who were about 5th in line to win it all, they were behind the Capitals. They were behind the Blues. Hell, I think they were behind the San Jose Sharks. Took Tampa Bay to win it. They took care of business as well. The only thing we did not predict correctly going into 2020 was because we did it at the beginning of the year before any game had played, I had the Ohio State Buckeyes to win it all. Now in week 6, I did hedge that bet with LSU. We hedged the bet with LSU. We also made a small wager on Clemson University just because we knew that LSU or Clemson one would be there. We just didn't know which one because of how the playoff format would be. But we knew Clemson was going to win the ACC. They were going to get a spot in the playoffs. It was just inevitable. But the original premium futures prediction was the Ohio State Buckeyes to win it all. They should have been there to play for it. They didn't get the chance because of the refs screwing them. But that was the only thing that we have not predicted correctly as far as a futures bet over the last year. We have Denny Hamlin, or Patrick has Denny Hamlin to win the NASCAR Sprint Cup, or I say Sprint Cup, I still call it that for whatever reason. The Cup Series Championship this year, we have a few races left, so hopefully Denny Hamlin will come through and cash yet another year where he predicted the champion correctly. And we'll move on. So I'll tell you about the specials that we've got going on this week, just a couple of them. NCAA basketball starts in less than 30 days. That is a $1,500 a year package. You get every premium and daily top play from day one tip-off all the way through March Madness. It's usually $1,500. We're going to sell it for $9.99 this year, just due to how the year's gone with COVID and everything. We're trying to keep the prices as modest as possible just to take care of you guys. But right now, through the end of the week, you can get it for $500, 50% off. Come this weekend, that price is going back to its normal price. So early bird special, people are already jumping on it. The NCAA basketball pass, you'll see it on the site where it says limited time price, 50% off, $500. Don't miss out. Also for $500, $499, you can get an all-access month. We have never offered this before. You want to be an all-access member, our most sought-after package, what people want the most, you have to buy a year. It's $4,000, which is beyond too cheap. For the first time ever, I'm offering an all-access month to allow you to test the waters and prove to you you want to invest for the year and save money. $499 gets you every single pick released on my site for one full month. Every premium play, every daily top play, every game of the week, game of the month, game of the year, NASCAR, horse racing, international sports, prop bets, futures predictions. If it gets released on my site, you get absolutely everything. Now, this is not going to be $499 going forward. I have not decided what the price is going to be, but for this week, you can get it for $499. Dip your toes in the water, see what you think about it for 30 days, and then jump on the 1-year all-access pass and become a long-term investor with the best service out there. So that's on the site. It clearly states 30-day all-access membership, and it says very limited time price. Make sure that you jump on that while you still have the chance to get it at that price. We will have at least one big top play this weekend, so it will pay for itself this weekend alone. We've got plays going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so do not miss out. There won't be anything Wednesday because there is nothing going on unless I release KBO action, and we won't know that until it comes around. So as far as a recap for what we can do, I gave the free play out on the over. That one didn't hit, but we did have a premium play on the Dodgers, minus 130 on the money line, and obviously they won the World Series, so that cashed us in a huge futures bet. So good day so far. We do have 2 KBO plays for Wednesday, but you probably won't even see this video before then, so it's kind of irrelevant. But that's what we've got going on. Once NASCAR completes, we'll be able to do a recap for NASCAR. Like I said, I'm going to be posting another video early Wednesday morning, or recording one early Wednesday morning in the morning. I don't know when I'll actually post it. And then I will be doing some on Wednesday night and Thursday as well. So I will be giving you anywhere from 4 to 5 videos between now and Saturday morning, all looking ahead, all underdogs if I can, pinpoint that many. And we're going to go for another clean sweep just like we did last week, going 7-0 on the underdog pick, or 6-0 on the underdogs, 1-0 on the favorites. So let's get into a couple of underdogs here. First one's Friday night, 10:30, day before Halloween. Wyoming is taking on Hawaii. Hawaii's laying 2. Wyoming should be favored in this one. They just should. Right now, not only are you going to be dealing with some elements that Hawaii's not used to, like being in that dry, thin Wyoming air, just kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. I think it's like an hour bus ride to get anywhere. Every single time Hawaii goes here, even when they're the better team, and even when they've won, whether it looks like it on the scoreboard or not, or looks like it on paper, it's been a close game, and Wyoming has always outplayed them, whether they beat them or not. Right now, for whatever reason, Wyoming's not a great team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not getting near the credit that they should. How in the world they built the recruiting class that they did 3 years ago with the resources that they have is beyond me. Now, I know that they took a chance on quite a handful of guys, redshirted them, and it's really paying dividends right now. I'm telling you right now, talent-wise, if they could get, I don't even know how I want to word this, but talent-wise, if they could just get a little bit more out of those guys, Wyoming actually has the talent to be a top 25 team. Hawaii does not. Hawaii did, and over the past 2 years, they probably had the most talent that we've seen out of that school easily in the last decade, but they had a lot of starters leave this year. They've got 2 players that opted out for the season. Hawaii was one of those schools that almost didn't play, and I'm telling you right now that Wyoming is the better team. Right now, I don't love the fact they're only catching 2, but if you really look at everything, and I broke every number down, this should be a deadlocked even game. It should be dead even. And then if you want to give Wyoming, even though home field doesn't mean much this year, when you talk about going from one extreme, like, playing in Hawaii versus playing in Wyoming, now you talk about having a little bit of home field. Because of that, I'd give them a point, maybe 2. So I think Wyoming should actually be favored by 1 to 2 points, maybe a field goal just for the sheer hell of it. Wyoming's the better team. Whether they win this game or not, they're the better team. They're the more talented team. They're the more experienced team now at this point. And I think they're the more hungry team. I really do. They have this year and next year to prove that the talent that they have is worthwhile, to try to go out there and build another recruiting class, to show people that can't make it to one of those bigger name schools that, hey, look at what we're building here. Come be a part of it. It's not easy to go sell a Wyoming, Like, hey, come out to the middle of nowhere and come play football for a school that is a nobody. I think that Wyoming should be the one favored here, not the one catching points. You can put the 2 points in your back pocket if you want to. Truth be told, you're going to bet a half unit on this one. So, whatever your normal premium wager is for me, you're going to bet half that. I think that the more valuable play here would be taking the $1.30 because right now you get 130 to bet the money line for Wyoming to win outright, which I think they will. If they don't win this game outright, then I think that Hawaii figures out a way to beat them by more than a field goal. So if you're going to bet the same thing, don't lay any juice. Don't even take the 2 points. Take Wyoming plus $1.30 on the money line. If you want to just be safe and take the 2 points, you are more than welcome to. Just like I said, I do not see a world where Hawaii wins this game by less than 3, but still wins the game. It's either Wyoming wins outright or Hawaii wins by more than 3. So do the smarter thing. Don't lay the juice. Have the chance for plus money. Take Wyoming to win the game outright at plus $1.30. That's your first one. Now jumping into Saturday, Baylor. Baylor and TCU. TCU is laying 3 to Baylor. And right now, when you look at it on paper, TCU is the better team. But truth be told, let me just double check because I bet this game about 2 hours ago. Let me just make sure that nothing has changed as far as that line. Let me pull up William Hill real quick. I doubt that it has, being that we still got a few days. But I just want to be damn sure. Yeah, okay, so TCU is still laying 3. Truth be told, when I did these numbers, because if you look at it on paper and look at everything that's going on this year and you're just looking at stats, then this game would be right. I don't know that I'd let TCU lay 3 based on numbers. I think I'd probably have them lay about 1.5, being that they're not at home. But it is in state. Baylor doesn't have the greatest following out there. But based on what Baylor did in the offseason, for football, once that season ended and you got really deep into college basketball and now Baylor all of a sudden thought that they were a basketball school, I think that there's just like some unfinished business with the school. With what they did last year, then their coach leaving, their seniors were leaving. Now the basketball team went out there and thought they were the best, which they were not. They weren't even the top 5. But the whole world believed them. Now it's like the whole world's believed you in 2 different sports, 3 if you count baseball in the last 5 years, and you've capitalized on none of it. You haven't capitalized with a Big 12 championship. You haven't capitalized with a national championship. So what have you got to show for it? Nothing. And TCU, if you actually go back and look at historically, has really always held Baylor's number when you want to tally everything up into a grand total. TCU is a good team, and like I said, on paper they are the better team. But if you've actually watched these 2 teams, especially over the last few weeks, I think that Baylor's gone out there and played their competition a lot better. But most importantly, they played them a lot smarter. And truth be told, if you look at the style of play between these 2 teams, even though they always are similar to each other, this year it's almost like looking in a mirror. Now the difference is you've got one team that's a little more experienced and has a little bit of that veteran leadership that Baylor lost. It doesn't matter. I think Baylor has more talent. I think they're just young now. And I think they're trying to get used to a new system under a new coaching staff, or at least under a new head coach and assistants. But I think that Baylor's got a little more talent. I think that Baylor has gone out there and proven that they're just as battle tested. And I think they're playing smarter football. And I think that, being the fact that they are at home and as smart as they're playing, I think this could be a close game from start to finish. I just think that Baylor holds the upper hand here. And I actually have Baylor -1 as my numbers. Now, even though you would be catching $1.35 here, $1.40 in some spots, I would take the 3 points here because, again, now you're getting a field goal. Now there's incentive to take and put the points in your back pocket because that way you can land on 3. You're not going to land on 2 on the Wyoming game. You're just not. It's possible, but it's not going to happen. With Baylor and TCU, go back and look at the last 20 years. This game being decided by a field goal is not unheard of, and nor is it a far cry or a stretch. I'll take the 3 points with Baylor. I do think that Baylor wins this game outright, or at least should, but I'm going to take Baylor plus the 3. That's your second underdog pick. Like I said, I've got 4 other games that I'm looking into that I'm going to study overnight. First thing in the morning when I get up before I head to the office, it'll probably still be dark outside. But I'm going to go out there and give you at least one more underdog pick. Who knows? Maybe more. And then we'll start looking deeper into college football Saturday and the days ahead, as well as NFL Sunday, trying to pinpoint some dogs there. Everybody hated the NFL dogs last week. Nobody liked the fact that I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to take down the Titans outright. That was even on the premium card. They won. And then people hated the fact that I gave out Washington to outright win against Dallas, and they trounced them from start to finish. There is no other capper, no other investor, consultant, whatever you want to call me, giving you underdog picks as consistently as I am that win game after game after game after game. 6 underdogs were given out for free last week, and all 6 of them won. You've got 2 starting out this week, and I'm going to make sure you have at least 3 more before we kick football off on Saturday. So stay tuned. You will have another video coming up at some point tomorrow, and we'll keep it rolling for the week. Go hop on one of those deals. Don't miss out. For nothing else, jump on that 30-day all-access month. Get yourself a part of the game of the week, month, or year, whatever it is this weekend, depending on how the lines shift. That will pay for itself alone, not to mention the rest of what you get. Good luck on everybody on NASCAR. Hopefully we'll finally get to race on Wednesday, and see what happens. I love you guys, and I will see you back for another one shortly.